Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are so excited to have you back here with us. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next couple hours, breaking down every start-sit question that you might have for Thursday night football, and then getting you ready for all things week 6. We've got some injury news. We just got a lot of news, honestly, to go through, Adam, but it should be a good day. Besides the Mariners loss, how you doing? Oh, you're
Yeah,
great because
Phil.
the Yankees lost, so
Oh
you're
yeah,
great. Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah. I was very, very happy yesterday. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s a national hero. Loved watching his
So
post game.
funny.
But yeah, hopefully your Mariners can take it down
I can't talk
tomorrow
about it.
and get to the ALCS to face Toronto. But
Ugh.
tough task against Tarek Skubal, but Mariners
No,
have
they've
beaten
done it
them.
before. If
Yes.
you thought I was distracted yesterday, everyone, just wait until tomorrow. If you thought me saying Evan Ingram going to IR, which by the way he's not, I was confusing him. So like with Brenton Strange, that's how far off I was. So it's gonna be fine. Everything's fine. I won't think about it today, and we will deal with it tomorrow.
Well,
But
the good
yeah.
thing is with tomorrow, you don't have a show on Saturday, so you can just, hopefully celebrate. If not, then
Or
you have the next day to
exactly.
be
At least
down
we don't
about
have a
it.
show. At least we don't have a show the next day. Let me just say that because yeah, it'll either be happy tears or we'll just be sulking. It'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. We're going to be positive about it and manifest all good things. They wanted to win at home. That's what the Mariners wanted to do, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just what the
that's what they
script
wanted
writers
to
had,
do.
in
Who
mind.
wants an easy
Yeah,
victory? You
why
want to
would you?
make it a little
Yeah,
challenging.
why would you want to win? 3 games right off the top, so you could have some more energy there for later. Whatever. I won't even get into it. But again, we are excited to have you all here today. Again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I know that today and tomorrow are the days that we get a ton of questions, so we will try and answer as many as we can over there. We'll also open the phone lines here a little bit later. Wanted to start, Adam, before we dive into this Thursday night football game with just some of the news that we saw over the last 24 hours, whatever it's been. But the Bengals, we talked about this yesterday, but just wanted to say the Bengals are planning to start Joe Flacco at quarterback going up against the Packers. We were kind of sitting here saying, well, what do we think? Do you think that they're going to turn to him right away? And the answer is yes. So I don't know. I was looking through some of the stats, and Ian does a great write-up. If people haven't read this yet, 10 things to know for week 6, and that's live at fantasylife.com. All of our articles are 100% free. But he went through just the offensive line and just saying that the offensive line for the Bengals obviously is far from ideal. He's saying, their allowed pressure rate is 42%, average time to pressure 2.43 seconds. But, when you look at the Browns, it hasn't been phenomenal over there for Joe Flacco, or it wasn't when he was playing. 41%, 2.5 seconds. So I'm still holding out hope that Joe Flacco here can at least help Jamar Chase and T Higgins. That's really what we're looking at for fantasy. Regular NFL terms with this move, I don't think that we're necessarily excited about it, but at least for Jamar Chase, T Higgins, and especially T Higgins, you're much more excited to potentially put him in your starting lineups this week with Flacco in rather than Jake Browning.
I wouldn't say much more excited.
Well, a
That's a
little. How about
little
a
bit of a
little?
stretch.
Just
A
a
little bit,
little more
yeah.
excited.
There's
How's
there's
that?
a glimmer of hope, right? Because with Browning, it was pretty
Fine.
bad. If you did use Higgins last week, like I did, we got saved by that late touchdown. It actually turned out to be a decent day in PPR with slightly over 11 points. This is a game against Green Bay that's going to be tough. We know they have a good defense, even though when we last saw them, they gave up 40 to Dallas. But we can say that this Bengals offense is not like Dallas right now. They're also coming off the bye week as well. They will be playing from behind. So that's the good thing, is they should be plenty of passes put in the air. But you needed to see a change, right? If
Yeah.
you didn't want to see it continue with Jake Browning because it was just atrocious. So any change would at least give you some hope, and we'll find out how much better it will be. But yeah, I mean, look, if you have Chase, you're starting him. I did see people like 2 weeks ago benching him. He didn't have a good game that week, and then last week he went off. And then Higgins is kind of like the borderline call, where I think in a lot of instances you're probably going to play him. And then with Chase Brown, it's all about volume. I mean, last week he came through catching, I think it was 7 passes. So
Mhm.
it's not going to be much on the ground with this offensive line. So you just got to hope that he can rack up points in the passing game.
Yeah, I've got Jamar Chase right now. Looks like wide receiver 6, and I'll probably move him closer to 5 once that game comes closer. And then T Higgins, I think borderline or like boom bust wide receiver 3. I have him 31, wide receiver 31. We have consensus over at Fantasy Life, wide receiver 30. So yeah, it's about right there.
Yeah, it's definitely not where you drafted
It's
him,
not great.
unfortunately, but there's nothing you could do about that now. And you
No.
could, again, you just hope that the quarterback change can at least keep the offense moving.
You just have to roll with it. The one thing with Chase Brown though is that so besides everything that's so disappointing is the workload is there, Adam. That's
Yeah.
the one thing. Like I was looking through some of his stats last night and I was like, okay, what are we missing here? The efficiency and the scoring upside isn't there. And that's the thing with Chase Brown. It's also there with, you can also say it's there with maybe someone like DeAndre Swift. I mean, but Chase Brown is just so brutal because he just hasn't been returning anything for you. I mean, he has 83 touches without a single 15 plus yard gain this season. That feels like it's really hard to do. So that's the one disappointing part. So I know that some people, and I'll put myself in that basket, like are excited to see Chase Brown with a different quarterback, but I don't know if I'm expecting different results with what we've seen because again, the workload's been there. But he's just not been efficient.
Well, yeah, he's getting hit almost every time he's getting the
Yeah.
ball. It's just there's no blocking at all there for him. So he has to make it up in the passing game. And then even the touchdowns are just not coming for him. So, yeah, he was rising up draft boards where he was starting to go early second rounds. And obviously that has been a brutal pick. But, once Joe Burrow went down, this offense took a big hit.
Let's see, where do I have him this week? I'll look in a second. I'll look in a second.
I mean, he
Yeah,
can't be that
it's
high at
brutal.
this point.
No, it's,
RB2 conversation, probably low
yeah,
RB2.
yeah. With
I
the
mean,
buys, you might not have better options,
it's
but
based on volume too. That's
mhm.
all it is when you look at him. You're like, well, he's getting 17 to 20 touches. I guess I have to start him.
29, RB
Yeah.
29 this week. Consensus 28.
Yeah, it's
Brutal.
tough at this point.
Yep.
I think it's just a lot of people are kind of stuck playing him because of all the injuries and whatever else you had on your roster. But the Packers have allowed the fourth fewest fantasy points to the running back position. I mean, Javonte Williams had 85 yards against them. That was on 20 carries. Judkins had 94, but there's no way. Even if Chase Brown got 18 carries, you can't project that with him with this
No.
offensive line.
Nope. So we'll see what happens and just cross our fingers that maybe the Bengals get a little bit better. But Joe Flacco is expected to start in this game going up against the Packers. And I can't believe we're saying that. Joe Flacco now for the Cincinnati Bengals. Help is on the way. Let's see if it works out, Adam. All right, the other pieces of news before we get into just a little bit of Thursday night football is that I saw Brock Purdy still not practicing. That was a Wednesday. We'll see what he looks like today. The quotes have been that Mac Jones might start again. I know that
Who?
Kyle Shanahan
Who's
stopped.
going to start?
No one. I
Oh,
don't know. You're not gonna. You know what? Funny enough, you're just not gonna get me with that, and I'm really
okay.
proud of that.
I
Except I
mean,
didn't know it counted for all other names, but that's fine. I'm just gonna stay locked in here. Mac Jones is looking like maybe he'll start again. We're going to have to just watch the injury reports for today and tomorrow. It's Brock Purdy trying to return from that toe injury. So Kyle Shanahan, their coach, said it hasn't been a thought about placing him on IR because he said that he's progressing. But again, just something to pay attention to.
yeah, obviously
Injury.
this is more for super flex leagues. So if you're, want to roll out Mac Jones, he's played well. They have confidence in him. Uh, and Brock Purdy, maybe if you've had him in a single quarterback league, clearly you've had a replacement with the time you
Yeah.
missed. And then even after you came back, played one game and then set out again. So you probably are good there, but it's more for super flex leagues with Mac Jones, especially with the couple of quarterbacks on bye.
They didn't rule anyone out there, did they? Juwan
No, but it's not looking good for
or
Ricky
or
Pearsall.
yeah. Okay, great.
Because, yeah,
Just
there
what
was
we
no
needed.
practice for Pearsall, no practice for Jennings.
Okay.
Again,
Uh
Wednesday practice, but there was a beat reporter said it's not looking good for Pearsall playing this week.
Perfect. Just what we need.
I
That's
know. I
fine.
kind of was hoping to get him back in one league really badly. I have him in a
Okay.
few, but should have known this PCL knee. It's not going to be a
Not
quick
good.
return.
That's the one that he's always been dealing with, right?
I
That knee
think so.
injury?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gets banged up a lot.
he does. He does get banged up a lot. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And then the last one that I wanted to mention again, just a Wednesday practice, but it's on the radar for Kyler Murray. He wasn't practicing with that foot injury. He said after that game, I remember him saying, we'll have to see what it looks like. But he did not practice on Wednesday. That was Jonathan Gannon coming out telling reporters that if he's healthy enough to play, he'll play. Thank you, Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
So he left. I think he left that game late in the third quarter. But it's
I
just
think it was on
again.
the play when the ball hit him
Was
in
it
the
the
face
ball?
mask.
That's
Yeah.
insane, but it's a foot injury and he left
I,
that game when the ball hit him in the face, really?
I guess where he was hesitant to
That's
go pick up the
insane.
fumble, and I guess he hurt
Oh
his foot
my.
on the play. I don't know, because he left like
That
right after
game.
that.
I went back to watch I don't even know if I should call them highlights for that game, but that was atrocious. That was so bad.
Yeah,
That whole game was
that was
almost
one of
like
the
a
worst losses you'll ever see. Because again, if DeMarcado holds on to that ball, it's 28-6.
well, and then them just like kicking the ball around, Tyler
Yeah.
Lockett falling on it in the end zone. I mean, it was you I couldn't believe that those were two professional football teams playing in that game. But
That's why if you
yeah,
took Arizona in Survivor, you have got to be sick. That's probably one of the worst. Like we thought the Rams loss last week for Survivor was pretty bad. That one was
this is
even
way
worse.
worse. Yeah, no, I agree. So if Kyler Murray doesn't play on Sunday, or if he's looking like he's not, their backup is Jacoby Brissett. There we go. Woo! They signed him as a free agent during the offseason. So again, there's not much here because it's a Wednesday. We'll really pay attention to these practice reports starting today. But if you have Kyler Murray, just maybe start thinking about a backup plan there. I would say same with Brock Purdy, but anyone listening that has Brock Purdy has probably just held on to their quarterbacks that they've been using week in and week out since he's been out with that injury as well. And then the last one here, which brings us into Thursday Night Football, is the guy that I paid $302, $208, whatever it was. It's too much money. Darius Slayton, my guy, will miss Thursday's game with a hamstring injury. Money well spent, Adam. But here we are. So I'm just shaking my head at that. So that was per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. He's been the only one that I've seen ruled out for this game so far, but I think that's probably all we're going to get. He's got that hamstring injury. He's been listed as a non-participant in each of the first two reports for practice this week. And yeah, so why not just spend money and just light it on fire and throw it in a trash can? That's basically what I did.
Yeah, look, we talked about it last week was a desperation week for many people, and Slate looked to be in a good spot with Malik Neighbors out for the year. We saw two games last year without Neighbors, and Slayton put up points. Different quarterback, though, but you were feeling pretty good about it. And then not only did he get hurt last week, he had a couple bad drops, too. So
Yeah, well,
once
he almost saved his day with that touchdown,
yeah,
but it didn't come through, obviously.
but once he had a hamstring injury, you knew he wasn't playing this week. And now you have to hope that he can return next week.
I hope so. At this point, though, I'm learning to live without him, even though I paid for him. It's like buying a car, keeping it in the garage. Don't need it. Don't need it.
Hey,
I'll go
look,
somewhere else.
every
I'll
every
walk.
once in a while we buy something, we get ripped off like you did with your hot dogs in New
No, I
York.
didn't get. But the thing is, I loved that. It was so good. It was such
Okay,
a good
fine.
hot dog. It was, and by the way, for people that are like $40 for, it was 3 items, which does not make it better. I know that,
It
but I'm just
doesn't.
trying to justify it a little bit here. What was it? It was a hot dog, a calzone, and something
I don't
else.
know.
I
I
don't
wasn't
know.
there. I'm
I was
just,
buying it for the whole city, I guess,
yeah.
because I mean, what are we doing?
But yeah, that look, it happens. It's like it's sunk cost, basically with draft picks as well, right? You take someone in the first 2-3 rounds, they don't produce. You just go, all right, well, nothing I can do now and move on. And it does suck because when you're spending 35% of your fab, you hope
Oh
to get a
God.
player that returns that value. But a lot of times if you go back and look at some of the high priced additions in fab, they usually do not work out. I mean, I did it in my baseball league this year, my high stakes league, and I was going to look, and like almost all the high price guys didn't work out. I mean,
Mhm.
I haven't done it for football yet. I mean, Michael Carter has worked out, but it's 1 week. Like we don't know if Michael Carter is going to keep doing this. I hope so, as someone who did spend on him. But a lot of times,
Yeah.
these high priced additions tend to not work out sometimes.
Yeah, it's just you just have to roll with the punches, and this is one for me where thank goodness, or is it a thank goodness? I don't know. We'll find out. Matthew Golden is back for me this week, so maybe that could make things better. I'm hoping for the post by rookie bump. That's what I'm hoping for Matthew Golden. But I don't know. I don't think I could get that lucky. I will say too, Tyrone Tracy is playing tonight. It looks like he is good to go to return for the Giants. He was out for the little bit of time with that shoulder injury, so he's been sidelined multiple weeks. He's been cleared to play, active for this game on Thursday night. Does that make him fantasy relevant again? Like, are you putting him right back where we were ranking him pre-injury, or are you pushing him back just a little bit with Cam Skattebo and what we've seen with him?
Yeah, no, I'm not playing him. I have him in one league. I'm not starting him. Look, Skattebo has had a massive workload here, and I don't see how they go away from him. It is a tough matchup here against Philly, but I can't see Tracy coming in and getting a good amount of touches this week.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I'd be surprised.
All right. Same here. I'm going to update my rankings, but I'm probably going to put him closer to RB 45, 46, 47, kind of that range. So you should have better options. I will say in this game though, Cam Skattebo, I mean, obviously it comes down to really, Cam Skattebo, Jackson Dart, and what they look like, but they've got to protect the ball a little bit better. And when you're down another, Darius Slayton, it does not help Jackson Dart's case here. You're moving up Jalen Hyatt. I mean, it's a Thursday, so it's kind of not the best time to be looking at a deep flex option or someone that you can look at there. Well, you're not going to flex them because you don't put Thursday night players in your flex spot. But Jalen Hyatt, does that bump him up for you at all either?
No, I'm not in
Okay.
this game. Maybe if in a deeper format, if you want to put him on the bench, but no, I'm not. This is just not a good spot.
No, it's really not. I take it you're taking the Eagles in this game,
Yeah,
even though
I
you
mean,
don't like to. I know.
well, I mean, I despise both teams, but
You're
being
like
objective
actually,
here, Philadelphia is a better team coming off a loss, and a rookie quarterback, a short week. Yeah, it does not set up well for the Giants here.
yeah, it's not great. We'll continue breaking this game down. I will say I think this is the one of the longest streak. I don't know. Let me look at this stat. I'll find it. I know the Eagles lead the all-time regular season series between the two, 93-87 to 2. So we'll see how it ends tonight, but we'll keep breaking down this game. I want to talk more a little bit about Barkley, our expectations for Cam Skattebo, what AJ Brown. I'm telling you, squeaky wheel game, 2 touchdowns. Who says no?
It's a good
You say
matchup.
no, but
No, it's a good matchup,
come on,
and
it'll
they
be
had
good.
their meeting. So let's see
Yeah,
if it
players meeting.
translates into success.
I love it. Rankings, risers, and fallers. That's where we're going next. I have to ask you where you would rank Justin Herbert going into this week because we are split at fantasylife.com between our rankers. Also, want to talk a little bit Michael Carter, Jalen Waddle, our expectations for Juwan Johnson. We're going through those names here coming up next. Oh, yeah. We've got everything you need to dominate week 6. Make sure you go to fantasylife.com. Check out all of our tools, our projections, our rankings, the utilization report, everything you need. And also remember that you can get Fantasy Life Plus for free. And this is not something that we usually do. And I'm really excited to be telling you about Fantasy Life partnering with Comet, an AI powered browser, acts as a personal assistant, a thinking partner, whatever you need from it. It has helped me a lot looking through stats from each week. And so it's been fun to use it. If you want Fantasy Life Plus for free, you can go and download Comet at fantasylife.com/Comet, Comet. Follow the 2-minute step-by-step guide. I did it. It was very easy. And so when you go to fantasylife.com/Comet and download that guide, you'll have the full access to every ranking tool and projection from Fantasy Life. So make sure you head over there, fantasylife.com/Comet, Comet. You ready, Adam? Rankings, risers, and fallers for the week. I want to start because this wasn't originally in the plans, and then I looked and I said, "Wait a second, we are very split as rankers at FantasyLife.com. There's 5 of us, and it's very fun to do this every single week. It's myself, it's Waz, Matthew Friedman, Dwayne McFarland, Ian Hartitz. Justin Herbert is at 13 for Dwayne and Ian, QB 13 on the week. And for Waz, QB 6, and Friedman is QB 6. I'm right in the middle, kind of, QB 9. Which way do you lean with Justin Herbert this week?
I'm more on the QB6 side.
Yeah, I am too. I was
Uh,
I was looking
my
around at like what I missed, but and
I
I
think
get it.
Yeah, my guess is they are very worried about the offensive line,
Yep.
but to me, that means that they're not going to run as much with these backup running backs, and they're going to rely on Herbert to drop back and pass a lot, like 40 times. I mean, you have the receivers there, and it is against the Miami defense.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, you definitely downgrade Herbert, right? We were feeling great about him the first few weeks, but I do think going forward, with Joe Alt still out, Slater gone for the year, and just seeing what this offensive line has done the last couple of weeks, it has not been good. But I think in this instance against Miami, I'm willing to start him.
I am too, and I understand the other side, right? Because there he has a lot to overcome in this matchup, but I'm still looking that it's Miami. I know that they are on the road as well, and he's felt the impact of losing. I mean, Becton, Pipkins, all these guys. He knows that's around him, and so the passing yards and yards per attempt have gone down since week one. I mean, week one you were looking at 318, 9.4 yards per attempt. And week five, I think a little bit different there, but it was still 166 yards, 5.7 yards per attempt. And yeah, every single week it has gone down, except for week three. He was able to, he got that 300 yards, 6.4. But I understand it. I'm still believing that what we've seen with Justin Herbert, that like you said, they're going to have to be going through the air anyway. I've also not necessarily upgraded, but I've made sure to keep Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen pretty high up in the ranks too, because I know that they're going to feel the impact as well. But yeah, I think they just have to get it done through the air. I'm still trusting him going into this week, especially in this matchup.
You hope too that he starts to run a little bit more. He had 16 rushing attempts the first two games, only 7 the last 3. Last week was 4 for 60. The week before was 1 for 24. So
Mhm.
maybe he'll take off a little bit more and raise that floor a little bit, giving you 30, 40 rushing yards. But yeah, look, the last 2 weeks have been pretty bad when you look at the
Yeah.
passing yards. But with this matchup, I'm willing to start him. And maybe it is more in the 9-10 range, but I think outside QB1 is probably a little bit too much when you look at some of the other quarterbacks this week and their matchups. But I do think going forward, you do have to downgrade him. Like if you were
Yeah.
it sucks because like the first 2 weeks you're like, oh wow, look at this, I have a potential MVP candidate, and then as it always is with the Chargers, something goes wrong. This time it's the
Always.
offensive line, and it's really hurt the offense the last couple weeks because they've only been able to put up 28 points against the Giants and Washington.
Yeah, so you're right though. I did technically downgrade him because he was always, right around QB5 for me. But again, it's QB9. I'm not pushing him outside the top 12 this week. It's just I still like him, especially in this matchup. So he's still going to be around for me. Same with same with Justin Fields as well. I see people shying away a little bit from that matchup with Justin Fields going up against the Denver Broncos. I've got him QB12 on the week, and we're actually consensus QB12 over at fantasylife.com. Dwayne likes him a little bit more at 10. Waz likes him a little bit less at 14. But I mean, I still really do like this. I think this is a really tough matchup. I understand that. But Fields is averaging 26.2 points in those three complete games. And I think when you look at the Xfinity best ceiling, what he can do with his legs, I'm still buying in. It's scary. It's one of those ones, Adam, where you just set it and forget it, and not set it and forget it because he's good. You just don't want to look. Just look away. Go for a walk. Get some food during this game, and check back once the game ends what his fantasy points are sitting at.
Yeah, or take a nap since it is
Oh,
the
take a
London
nap.
game. You could sleep a
Oh,
little
geez,
late.
is it?
Yeah, it's the London
Well, I'll
game.
never. Okay, no lunch. Go get breakfast. If you're on the West Coast, just sleep in. Don't look.
Yeah, and the thing is, I saw this stat. I got to remember correctly. I think it was about 39% of Justin Fields' production has come in the fourth quarter. So,
Perfect.
that's,
Doesn't matter how he gets there. It just matters that he
yeah,
gets
this
there.
one is a tough matchup, though.
It
I
is.
am a little. So, you have Caleb Williams higher?
I
I'm
do have Caleb Williams
Yeah,
higher.
because I have that decision, I think, in at least 2 leagues, and I'm leaning
And
Caleb Williams right
it's
now.
not particularly close for me either. I've got Caleb Williams at QB7 this week going up against the Commanders.
Yeah, it's still Caleb Williams, so it's always
Well,
tough to
that's
trust him.
true.
But with Fields, yeah, you just got to hope that he can get it done with his legs and maybe some production late. The Broncos have actually done well against rushing quarterbacks, although Jalen Hurts only had 2 rushing attempts last week for 3 yards. It's not
I
used
don't
to
know
see
what's
him
going on with
run
that.
so little. Daniel Jones had 6 rushing attempts for 2 yards. So they've been pretty good in the last 2 weeks, too. But they've allowed some passing yards to quarterbacks. They've just kept them out of the end zone. So, yeah, Fields, again, is one of those guys where at the end of the day, the production is going to be there, but this is one of the tougher matchups and now traveling overseas. But yeah, I think he's a little bit lower this week than previous weeks. Like last week, he was a smash start. I
For
think
sure.
everyone loved him. And then we watched the first half and the first three quarters, and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I played this guy. And at the end of the game, you're like, oh, okay.
Woo!
So
Get
Fields is
ready.
like, there's people in life that make awful decisions and it always turns out
But
well
it
for them
still works
somehow.
out for them.
That's how
Yes.
that's how
Oh my
Justin
gosh.
he's that person in fantasy.
It's like, oh, I'm going on a trip. I'm like, where are you going? They're like, oh, I don't know. I think Aruba. I don't know where my passport is, but I'm on my way to the airport. I'm
Right.
like,
And like it
what?
all works out. They
Yeah.
plan nothing.
I'm
And
kind
then
of jealous
how
of
was
those
your vacation?
people.
Oh, it was great. I went here, I did this. Like, but you didn't plan anything. It was last minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
as a
Fields.
type A
Cause like
person, it bugs me.
it really is like people think like we're exaggerating, but if you watch like Fields for the entire game and he's on your fantasy team, you're gonna get an ulcer.
Oh, for sure. But that's what makes it so hard with Justin Fields in the rankings each week too, because I know that this is a tough matchup. This is one of the tougher ones on paper that he's going to have this season, and yet I find myself not being able to put him outside the top 12 because of the not just the rushing upside, like you said, fourth quarter, garbage time, some of the stuff that he could put up. But like I have him, I could see myself in the next couple days because these are always changing, updating them every day. Like I might end up putting Daniel Jones ahead of him. I have Daniel Jones 13, and I actually have Bo Nix 14. So I could see those three move. I've got Jared Goff 15, and I think I'm pretty set right there with him going up against Kansas City. But I could see those three moving a little bit. Matthew Stafford at 11. I'm keeping him there.
Yeah, Stafford I would play over Fields this week
Yeah.
going against that. I mean, Baltimore could get some players back on defense, but they're still, hurting a lot.
Play Daniel Jones ahead of Justin Fields.
I don't think so. Like I said, he's not running as much as he did early in the
No,
year,
I wonder
so
if we're
I
going to
would go
get
with
back to
Fields.
that at all. For Daniel Jones. We'll see here. So Michael Carter. Speaking of a rankings riser, this is another one going over to the running backs because we saw, Michael Carter was able to take over that backfield for Arizona and Amari DiMercado. I don't know if he's going to be in the doghouse. I don't know what's going to happen. You see that fine that they gave Gannon?
Yeah,
How much was that? $100,000 or
100K.
something?
Yeah.
Something like that. It's crazy. So I don't know if he's going to be in the doghouse or if they're going to feel so bad for doing that to him on the sideline that they're like, actually, no, here you go. Here's a full workload. But the Cardinals are six. Well, I think the last time I checked, 6.5 point. Whoa,
7.5.
underdogs. Whoa, 7.5.
Yeah.
Their team total is 20.5 last time I looked against this Colts defense. So because even with all of that though, I still have Michael Carter in a really good spot. I think he's borderline RB2 is where I have him. And if you have him and picked him up, I don't know, you might have better options, but my thought process is that if you had to pick him up, you're probably hurting at the running back position. So I've got Michael Carter this week, RB23. So it's a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah, I'm playing him in a couple leagues that I
Woo!
have him. Again, those are leagues where there are problems at the running back position and a little desperation. You just have to hope. Remember, because the game script favored Carter last week, even though he did have 5 receptions and he ran more routes than DeMarcado.
Mhm.
This is the opposite game script where if DeMarcado's not in the doghouse, he would be more suited for the passing downs, assuming they're trailing. But you would think he gets penalized. That would be my
I
guess.
don't know.
So I think Carter is the best play here. And you just got to hope that even if they fall behind like 14-3, that they keep him on the field and he can get it done in the passing game.
It's a bet on volume for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna bet on the volume with him and hope that it works out. But again, my RB 23 going into the week, and I don't see myself moving him at all. Speaking of that Thursday game, I meant to ask you this, but Cam Skattebo, have you dropped him down a little bit? Are you expecting a little bit less from what we saw last week? I mentioned earlier in the show, like I still have him RB 19, so I haven't really moved him. But I will say that's I guess a little bit of a downgrade for me based on where I was, putting him in the rankings last week more specifically. They just have to protect the ball a little bit more. It was kind of brutal last week, and that was the one thing where that was the one game with the Saints where we said, okay, this is where it stops being even remotely easy. And I don't even think that was an easy game, but they have a really tough schedule ahead starting tonight. So for me, I was looking at it saying, okay, where could Cam Skattebo go? It's not necessarily the return of Tyrone Tracy either. We mentioned that. But Yeah, they just had critical errors last week, and just protecting that ball is going to be really important for him. But I still like him. I mean, again, RB19 is making me believe that you're probably going to be, if you have him, starting him everywhere. But what are your expectations for him?
Yeah, I think if you have him, you're starting him. Though you expect the volume to be there. I don't think Tyrone Tracy cuts in too much. Skattebo has averaged 19.3 touches since week two. He's been productive in the passing game as well. That's probably where it's going to have to come tonight as well. I mean, Philly's run
Yeah.
defense has not been shut down this year. You can run on them a little bit, so you hope that he can catch 4 or 5 passes. But yeah, I think if you have him, he's in that low RB2 territory where you're going to start him.
All right, at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you've got any questions, I see them coming our way, and then we'll open up the phone lines here in a little bit as well. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. I did see one earlier before the show started, just on Juwan Johnson. He is actually someone I did downgrade this week, Adam, just to I mean, I think he's still playing enough to offer fantasy relevance, obviously, at the tight end position. But whenever you have Taysom Hill coming back, who can never leave us alone, we can never have nice things when Taysom Hill is coming back. I did push him outside of my top 12 tight ends going into week 6, so he is a faller for me,
Yeah, he definitely is. It was
which
looking really
stinks.
good.
I
Yeah, it was looking
know.
really good early in the year. He was playing a lot of snaps. He got banged up too a couple of weeks ago, injuring his ankle, and played through it. And then we were worried about if he was going to play the following week. He did, but yeah, you have Taysom Hill back. He didn't play a lot though, but he's going to ramp up, and Foster
Yeah.
Moreau, and yeah, it's not ideal for Jawan Johnson. It's not, the outlook is not as good as it was a couple weeks ago, where you're probably looking for a different tight end now.
Yeah, it's brutal, but hopefully if you had him and you just picked him up, that I mean that was money well spent though, because he did get you good fantasy production during those weeks. Not to say that he can't go back to that, but right now I have him tight end 16. So you actually might have better options if you were able to pick up maybe a Mason Taylor. I have him ahead of him going into this week, even if it's a tough matchup. So brutal, brutal. Blame it on Taysom Hill. Not really, because like you said, he didn't play that much, but whatever. Some questions here really quickly. I see one from Fanny Pack Mafia. Nice. Do you have a fanny pack? No,
No.
there's no chance you have that. Anyway, Cam Skattebo or Michael Pittman for flex full point PPR. I've got Skattebo ahead in just overall ranking, so I would say Scat there. What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
would go with Skattebo
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's a no fanny pack. Come on, like a
No,
little Lululemon crossbody bag.
no,
Where do
come
you
on.
keep all your stuff? What do you
My
mean, come on?
pockets. What do
Oh
I need? How
gosh,
much stuff
whatever.
do I need to keep?
I don't know. Your wallet, maybe a
Wallet, keys, phone.
chapstick.
That's it.
That's a lot of stuff. Phones are
No,
phones are
it's
really big
not.
right now.
Nah.
All right, Herbert. This is from Chris. Appreciate you listening to us right now, Chris. Herbert, Caleb Williams, or Bo Nix going into this week. Let me make sure I have this right. I believe I would go.
Caleb, you would probably go
I
Caleb
would probably
because
go
yeah.
Caleb. Let me just make sure, because sometimes I say that and then Um, yeah, I would. It's really close though between Caleb and Justin Herbert, but I do have Caleb Williams QB7.
I look, Miami has allowed the third most fantasy
I
points to the
know. Maybe I
quarterback
should
position.
change that.
Yeah,
Should I
I
flip
would
them?
I would go Herbert. I know it's a little risky with that line, but it's Miami. If there's any week that he should put up good numbers, it's this one.
Yeah, I might have to see. Isn't this great when we do our rankings? Then we get questions like this, and then you say, "Well, wait, hang on a second. I do like Caleb Williams in this spot, though.
Oh,
I
I know.
when you compare it to, but when you compare it to Justin Herbert, I understand it because Caleb Williams. I mean, yeah, he averages 20 and a half points per game, projects for us, fantasylife.com, 19.3 for this weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Caleb is running a little bit too. Uh,
Yeah.
he has at least 5 carries in every single game, and he's rushed for 110 yards on the season.
I'm gonna stick with Caleb for now, but now over the next couple days, that might have to flip. We know who it's not. It's not Bo Nix in this one. So appreciate you listening in, Chris. Make sure you go to fantasylife.com. Check out all of our rankings. They are updated. I want to talk through players we're on the fence about going into week 6, because there are some questions here about, what is Calvin Ridley really going to look like here? Khalil Shakir, some of these guys in our ranks as well. We're going to go through their names here coming up next. Oh, I know this one. This is an Adam song, by the
No, it's
way.
not. I have no
This is
idea
the
what
new
this
this is the
is.
new this is the new music.
Who is it?
You stop. Who is this?
I don't
You
know.
don't know? It's Taylor.
Is it?
Our friend Taylor Swift.
Uh,
Yeah, her new album's out.
doesn't really. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know really how she sounds because I don't listen.
Yeah, right. Good
I
save.
don't listen to
Good
her.
save. No, no, it was a good save. Listen. Took me a second though. That definitely is
You
a
like her new
Kendall
album?
and I have not listened to it enough
I
to
thought.
have an
Wow.
opinion.
So you're not a fan like that?
Well, no, I don't. Yeah, no. But
Okay.
I've heard split opinions on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure I do like a couple songs from it. I don't think it's a no skip album like Justin Bieber. You're like, oh God, I'm leaving. Anyways, that was a Kendall and Adam song. Don't
No,
let
it
him fool
wasn't.
you
Don't
guys.
mislead people.
No,
Come on.
don't let him fool you. He knew
Yeah.
exactly who that was. His face lit up. You can't see it right now, but he was just like, "Oh, Taylor Swift, finally." Um, guys, we're on the fence about in our rankings here. So again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you have questions, see them coming in. We'll start getting to more of those here. But players we're on the fence about more so in our rankings, what our expectations are going into week 6. Can we talk a little Khalil Shakir? Because we don't like, so when we talk about the Bills, it's really Josh Allen that we mention a lot. It's James Cook. We've been talking about Dalton Kincaid over there. Shakir has been so interesting because I saw these stats over in the Athletic. What would you guess his ADOT is right now? His average depth of target. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably too high.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's
insane.
a very. Yeah. He uses a lot of
One
short passes.
1.44 ADOT.
Damn.
That's average depth of target in week 5. That was the lowest of any wide receiver who had at least 4 targets. That you know who clocked in next was Chris Godwin with the next one. It was 2.75 on 4 targets. I saw that and I couldn't believe it. So the other metric that they brought up in this article, which again I'm referencing from the Athletic, is that he had just 13 total air yards on his 9 targets. That's insane to me. It's just, and that's why it's so brutal when we talk about any of these pass catchers for the Buffalo Bills. Is like it almost stinks to talk about it because you have someone like Josh Allen who is quarterbacking this team who we love for fantasy football, and yet we really don't lean on any of the receivers in these spots. We have it at some points. Some of these guys are fine, good options where you have to start them, especially if you have 3 wide receivers, a couple flex spots. You're probably looking at a Khalil Shakir, but to hear an A dot of 1.44, it's just, I mean, he's been able to sustain at least, I think, wide receiver 3 if you're looking at full point PPR value, because he's been getting the receptions, but yeah, it's just, I just saw that stat and I thought it was nuts. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I don't have any Shakir
You
this
liked him
year.
more last year.
Yeah, I did. And then
Yeah.
just seeing how that offense operated, spreading the ball around, I didn't think it would change. I'll say this, Shakir to me is solid in guillotine leagues because the
Oh,
floor is
yeah.
really high, like
He's on
every
the same
single week.
level as Keenan Allen for me, where it's just like consistent. At least it's consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then, the weeks he scores a touchdown, it'll be a good week. He has 2 on the season, but yeah, he's not an exciting player because that ceiling is not high and he'll get you his 4 or 5 catches, 40, 50 yards, and then if he finds the end zone, he'll have a good week. So I think he's had a couple, he's finished as a wide receiver 3, like 3 out of
Yeah.
5 weeks, which again is fine, but just, you don't have a high ceiling with him in this offense.
No, I've got him at wide receiver 40 this week. I don't think I see myself moving him at all. But yeah, the average depth of target for him on the season, because those stats that I gave you were just from last week, but for the year, it's 4.17 average depth of target, which is the lowest among all wide receivers with at least and by a lot, I will say, for with wide receivers with at least 20 targets. So it's crazy. And the one thing here too with that average depth of target since 2018, it was Rashee Rice, Deebo Samuel, Wan'Dale Robinson are the only receivers to average 10 plus PPR points with an ADOT under 5 yards. Crazy.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
just
you take
no
that
big
into account.
plays.
He wasn't necessarily expensive though. I mean, you weren't paying up where his range went, I feel like in some of those drafts was probably right at cost. Like it
Yeah,
made sense.
yeah, because I think people expected this.
You moving Calvin Ridley up after you benched him, or can you bench him again actually this week so we can all enjoy another decent game from him, or do you have to
No,
go ahead and start him?
he'll be back in the
Ah,
lineup
dang it. So
this week.
everyone just realize, bring your expectations down. But last week, 131 yards, week 5 after, he had 141 during the first 4 weeks total. Again, yes, it was 1 week. It was against a weird Arizona Cardinals team in this one. But yeah, I actually did move him up in my rankings. He's borderline for some people, but I do like him going into week 6. The Raiders 29th ranked defense in PPR points per game allowed to opposing wide receivers.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, and also he showed that he was healthy as well. That was the biggest concern because he had, I think it was knee and elbow injuries last week. He was on the injury report. They said he was going to play, but they wanted to see how he fared in warmups first, and that game was like at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to wait, and I don't have good options, so I'll just sit it out. And then, of course, he goes out and has a massive game. But good matchup this week against the Raiders. So yeah, I'll get him back in there.
There we go. My wide receiver 33 might do the Adam Ronis bump down and say, well, Adam's starting him this week, so maybe I need to move him more to 37, maybe 38 there. But good start nonetheless. He's on the fence for some others, like Friedman has him at 45, Dwayne has him at 37. But I do like him in this matchup this week, so that's where I am with someone like Calvin Ridley and maybe a little Khalil Shakir as well. We're going to continue on. I want to go through. I've got a ton of questions here on X, and you do too, about quarterback streamers for this week. So I wanted to go through just a couple quarterback streamers that we like based on their matchups, and so we're going to give you those names here coming up next. As always, appreciate everyone hanging out with us right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, getting you ready for week 6. Going through some of your questions as well at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there. Vinny said a Lululemon crossbody bag for Adam Ronis would be an epic sight. I think you
Never
need to
happened.
level up. Why? They're
Never
so
happened.
convenient. They just sit there.
Not gonna
It's
happen.
just all right.
Not my
Fine.
style.
You could loop it through the belts. You could go to Disneyland with it. It's just convenient. Not
Not
your
gonna
style,
happen.
whatever. So all your stuff falling out
Nice
of your
try.
pockets. That's fine. Whatever. Guess I'll return your Christmas gift. I'll just figure it
Yeah,
out later.
okay. There's no way
Oh
you already
my
had
god.
that bought. First
Listen,
of
I
all,
do shop early
there's
for Christmas.
you shop now for Christmas? You're one of those?
I have gotten a cup. Well, yeah, because if things are on sale,
Okay.
hello. Like sometimes they put things on sale and you're like, I should just get this now.
All right, that makes
The
sense.
Christmas tree is not up though, I'll tell you that. Not yet. I think November 1st this year.
November
I'll wait
after
it out.
Halloween. Are you a big
Yeah.
Halloween person?
I don't mind it. I don't we don't get a lot of kids coming around though.
Okay.
Fortunately. We don't live in a neighborhood with a ton of kids. So, you? No, you're not. Please. We're not
Not
doing
anymore, no.
it. It's still fun though. When is that? We'll have to do a Halloween show. Should we
It's
should
on a
we
Friday, October 31st.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that'll be fun. All right, we'll figure something out for that. Anyways, what are we talking about? Fanny packs and Halloween. I don't know what's going on here today. Quarterback streamers that people can look to for week 6. I think he's probably already been picked up, but we have mentioned Matthew Stafford a lot throughout this week. But Matthew Stafford is inside a good portion of my rankings. I think he's inside the top 10 actually. No, I've got him at 11, but he is still definitely someone to go and pick up. I had someone message saying, hey, I've got Jackson Dart this week, what do you think? And I said, it's Stafford for a lot of the streamers going up against that Baltimore Ravens team that we continue to pick on. So I think he's a really good option. What do you think about going to Bryce Young versus your Dallas Cowboys? That's another team that we do pick on. I know we haven't gotten great sights from Bryce Young, but Dallas just might be that team that we say it really doesn't matter who it is. Maybe we go to Bryce Young. What do you think for him as a streamer? Are you going somewhere else?
Yeah, you can. Again, it all depends on what the options are out there, but he probably is out there in a lot of leagues because he's been disappointing. And this is the week if for any of him to have a good game, and he does play better at home as well. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
we've seen Dallas just get destroyed by pretty much every quarterback. Even as bad as it looked for Fields there for a little bit, he came through in the end. So yeah, if there's any week that you hope Bryce Young could have a good game, it would be this one. They've allowed multiple touchdown passes to every quarterback except one, and that was Jalen Hurts in week 1, and Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game.
Wow, they give up 27.1 fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks on average.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Jeez.
they're getting destroyed. They've allowed at least 283 passing yards in four of the 5 games.
Oh, Tyrone McMillan boom game. Can we have it?
We need a
If there's
touchdown
ever a
from Tet.
well,
Can
yeah,
we
that
get
would
the
be
first
nice.
touchdown of the year for him? This should be the week.
Yes, that let's say that out loud so that happens. Tua Tagovailoa. I've seen a couple Tua Tagovailoa questions here. Miami going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. What do you think? I think he's been a solid streaming option since week one. It was really bad. Then they had that players only meeting. He's averaged 223 and a half passing yards, 2.3 touchdowns, 17.5 fantasy points. So I don't hate it, but I would also go, more so with Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold. I have Bryce Young ahead of him too.
Yeah, if Mac Jones started, I'd rather play him over Tua.
Oh yeah, I just figure Mac Jones is not available because whoever had Brock Purdy or whoever was streaming, I feel like they just kept Mac Jones, right?
Maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Yes, Mac Jones definitely ahead of him though. FantasyLife.com for those rankings. We are going to go to the water cooler. We're going to answer your questions, answer your phone calls as well, give you all the news you need to know coming up next. It is about that time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler, where we go through all the pieces of news that you need to know heading into week 6, because you are always going to get all the information right here, Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I see the phone calls coming in already, 888-963-2682. Or you can press that new call button on the SiriusXM app. I also see questions coming in on X, so you can send those in at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there. And as always, fantasylife.com. I'm always going to point you in that direction because we've just got everything that you need to continue dominating your fantasy football leagues this season. So again, our rankings are updated. Our rest of season rankings are updated. You've got tools like the start sit tool. If you're unable to call in, if you're unable to send a message, go to that start sit tool. We've got projections, we've got trade analyzers. Really, I can't say it enough. We've got everything that you need. And for right now, and for the next few, I think you only have a couple weeks to be able to get this deal. So it's not going to last forever. But again, I've mentioned our partnership with Comet. So this is an AI powered browser, acts as a personal assistant, thinking partner, anything that you need, any stats that you need from the NFL across games. That's how I use it. You can ask Comet to give you updates on player injuries, coach speak, everything that you need going into week 6. But for a limited time, you can also get Fantasy Life Plus for free when you download Comet at fantasylife.com/Comet. That's /Comet, COMET. Follow the 2-minute step-by-step guide, download Comet, then you get all the access to all of our tools, our rankings, our projections for free for 1 year. That's Fantasy Life Plus for free for a year, fantasylife.com/Comet. All right, Adam, you ready to go? I'm ready to go.
Yes.
We've got phone calls coming in, we've got questions coming in. We are ready for you all. So let's get into, I mentioned this at the top here. I do just want to hit on the Cardinals did fine Jonathan Gannon $100,000 for the sideline interaction that he had with Amari DiMercato. Amari DiMercato, revenge game, or do you think he's in the doghouse this week? I think that I've seen a ton of questions on where we have him ranked going into this weekend. So Michael Carter for me is ahead of him, actually at running back 23. I've got DiMercato at RB 50, and maybe I'll move him up because that does feel a little bit far back for me. But what do you think with Amari DiMercato? If you have him going into this week, is he flexible for you?
I'd say no, because there's a
Oh,
risk that he
really?
barely plays. So again, we don't know, haven't really seen anything about it, but that's just something he cost them the game. I saw
I
people
know.
debating that. He did. He scores
Yeah,
there. That game is over. We're not talking about
Yep.
all of the other things that happened afterward that changed the game. So I would say there's a risk. I mean, every situation is different, but we saw with Adonai Mitchell, right? He was
Yeah,
penalized,
that's
and they
true.
could have used him with Alec Pierce out again last week. And he had 2 mistakes that were pretty critical, preventing touchdowns. Every coach is going to handle it differently, but to me, there's a risk of he barely plays. So no, I'm not. I'm not putting him in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 50 is where I have them. So if you if you're looking at running backs, and that's just for running backs, that's not overall. You're looking at a different one. I also have, I mean, I've got Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, pretty close to him as well. Not that you want to go that far again, unless you're extremely desperate at starts. But I've got him at 58, so that's the other thing to look at there. But $100,000 for Jonathan Gannon. Did Jerry Jones get fined for his flipping off the crowd?
Yeah,
What
but I
did
think
he?
he might appeal it. But yeah, he did get fined.
Okay. Yeah. What are we doing? What's going
I
on?
don't
Can
know.
we not just as a society chill out? Because that was insane. And then
He
did
was
you
fined
see,
250K, by the way.
whoa,
Yeah,
250?
yeah.
Wow. Is that as much as remember when Tepper threw the drink last year?
I wasn't. I
Was
don't know.
was that one was crazy too.
Yeah, that was worse.
Yeah, that was way worse. Jerry Jones, I think, said he was trying to wave or something. Did you read that? That he was trying to wave and then he was like,
I mean,
"Oh, it was
he's
just
old. He doesn't know what he's
what are
doing.
we talking?" Yes, he does. Get
He
out of
does not.
here. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to
Have
wave
you
and then
seen
he
the way he's
flips
run
the
this team? He doesn't know
Are
what he's
you
doing.
don't give him the benefit of the doubt there. That's insane. 100,000 250 is a lot. He's going to appeal it?
You've never accidentally given a middle finger?
No.
Okay.
Literally never. Have
Okay.
you?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Stop. Get out of here. Oh yeah, I was trying to wave. Sorry, I accidentally flipped you off.
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh, Tepper got 300K for the drink.
Okay, yeah,
Wow.
I thought it was more. Yeah.
Expensive mistakes. Hey, don't be mean. Maybe don't do it. All right, continuing on here. I just really needed to start with the Jonathan Gannon thing because 100,000. I was like, well, there it is. The news that we talked about at the top of the show. Just want to recap it in case people were not around to hear it. Let's start with the Bengals. The Bengals are going to start Joe Flacco at quarterback, going up against the Packers for the second time. Joe Flacco going up against the Panthers. So if you look at some of his stats, it's not been a great encore for him going back to the Browns. You were hoping for 2023 version. You got among 34 quarterbacks with 100 plus dropbacks. He's 34th in EPA per dropback. He's got a PFF passing grade of 26th. Completion percentage over expected is 30th, 34th in yards per attempt. I can keep going, 34th in passer rating, but we look at this from a fantasy football angle. So when you look at, anyone on this team, more specifically T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, startable, right? I mean, you heard us coming into the segment. It's like I said you can be much more excited about T. Higgins. You said only a little bit more excited, but with Joe Flacco, you are just hoping that he is able to give them fantasy production for this week and the weeks moving forward.
Yeah, look, he's a veteran. He knows that the offensive line isn't good. He'll have to get rid of the ball quickly. He's not afraid to throw it up for his receivers too. I think that's the other factor where Browning was a little gun shy. Obviously, the offensive line didn't help, but I think Flacco knows coming in there. Hey, I got to get this ball to Chase and Higgins, give them an
Yeah.
opportunity. So, yeah, I think it's again, it's not a great matchup here. Packers are a good defense. They are huge underdogs, so they'll likely be playing from behind. You just hope that they can complete some passes. So yeah, Higgins is more in the wide receiver 3 area this week.
And you're not starting Joe Flacco in Superflex, or at least I hope not.
Well, look, super flex.
I know
Yeah,
it's brutal.
you don't want to, but again, it all depends on your context. I had a team. He wasn't available in mine. I guess whoever had him held on. But yeah, I have a super flex team that is absolutely dying for quarterback play. I was actually really happy that I was able to pick Spencer Rattler up off the waiver wire. That's how bad it is because right now my starting quarterbacks are Rattler and Bryce Young
How much did that
because I
cost
lost
you?
Burrow. The team's 4-1, so
Hey,
hey.
there you go. Gotta keep it going. Gosh, 4-1.
Yeah.
That's insane. To have those starting quarterbacks and be 4-1 is
Look, I've heard stories before. People have told me
oh
that they've
yeah.
won 2 quarterback leagues or super flex leagues, and you hear the quarterbacks are like, what? So it can be done. Obviously, you need your skill position players to be really good, and then you hope during the playoff run that your quarterbacks have big weeks. So it doesn't feel good. You don't look at a championship when those are your 2 quarterbacks, but it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, never to my teams, but I'm glad it happens to someone at least. Let's just say that. Speaking more on injury reports and watching for week 6, just potential guys sitting out. Brock Purdy was still not practicing yesterday. Again, it's going to be really important today, tomorrow to see where he's at. So if he's obviously not good to go, they're going to do the same thing that they've been doing. Mac Jones may get the start again. At least Kyle Shanahan said that there hasn't been a thought on placing Brock Purdy on IR. So you just have to hope that Brock Purdy's able to return. Again, didn't practice yesterday. I see a question here, though, from, I believe it was, oh no, where'd it go? I can't find the name. I remember, though, it was Mac Jones or Jackson Dart. So if Mac Jones does get
Who
the
are the 2
start,
quarterbacks?
it is Jackson Dart and the other quarterback for the 49ers that I will not say again because you're not going to have me get it. You're just not. But it is Mac Jones, though. I will have Jones ahead of Jackson Dart if he does go.
Yes.
He's just a
Well,
little
the
bit
thing is, the
further
problem
back
is
in
you
my
have to make
rankings
that
than
decision now
oh
because Dart is
god.
tonight.
God, you do.
So
Um
I would wait on the practice reports from today, but I probably would just wait anyway. And then worst case scenario, you can go to the waiver wire, right? If Purdy it does play.
uh I mean, yes, that is just
I
not
mean, it
ideal
doesn't
though, because
sound like Purdy's coming back this week.
it didn't to me, but I don't know. You never know. Mac Jones was banged up on that Thursday game, but they're coming back off a lot
Yeah,
more
extended
rest.
rest. They were the
Yeah.
Thursday night game last week.
Wow, that's brutal. So I do, I mean, yeah, I will have Mac Jones. I do already have Mac Jones ahead. So you're right. I think you just have to make that decision now and
And you have to
pick someone up.
pass on Tampa. You can't run on them. And it's not like
Mhm.
McCaffrey has been great on the ground this year. He doesn't have a rushing touchdown, right? I think all of his production has
Oh,
really come
wow,
through the
really?
air. He has not been good on the ground.
Wow. Yeah, and you said it about Tampa Bay and what you have to do to beat them. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
McCaffrey
I've
has no
got Mac
rushing
Jones.
touchdowns. He
Wow.
has three
If you would have told
receiving.
me that, I would have said that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Ju-
would have quizzed
hi-
me on that, that's crazy.
His season high in rushing
Wow.
yards is 69, and it was in week one against Seattle. Since then, he's had 55, 52, 49,
Mm.
57. He's averaging 3.1 yards per carry. He's not getting it done on the ground, but you don't care because he has 39 receptions for 387 and three touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, geez,
He has 52 targets in 5 games.
I didn't even see that. That is crazy. And
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, by the way, 27th in EPA per dropback, first in EPA per rush is the other part of that. So week 5 against the Seahawks, that was the 13 game streak of holding opponents under 100 rushing yards. But Christian McCaffrey, because of what he's doing, at least he, he's a wide receiver and a running back right now for you. He's going to catch those passes, like you said. So you're obviously, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is a no brainer, but that is interesting with the 27th in EPA per dropback, first in EPA per rush for the Bucks. So
Yeah,
you know
and
that you have to go
Kenneth
through the air.
Walker. Kenneth Walker was 10 for 86 against them.
Hmm.
No other running back has topped 43 rushing yards against them this
Wow.
year.
Go Kenneth Walker. And it'll still be a split this week.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
of course. I mean, that's the thing. See, that's where I think you have to switch it up. Like, if you're in game and you know how good this Tampa defense is, and you see Walker doing that, you're like, we got to go to
Let's
him
keep
more.
giving it to him.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
That's just me, but
that's
hey,
just
what do
us
I
for our
know?
fantasy teams. They don't care. They don't care about it. Crazy. But okay, yes, that was a long answer for it would be Mac Jones over Jackson Dart, but just yeah, you've got the game tonight, so you'd have to make that decision. We'll look at the practice reports today for one Brock Purdy and see where he is at. Again, Joe Flacco is going to get that start. I think that was all the injury news. Oh, Darius Slayton is out today. So if you spend money like me, just light it on fire and throw it in the trash can because he is not going today. Can you tell that that's bugging me because I needed a wide receiver so badly and you spend money on someone that should get a good bump up the rankings because he would be the number 2 option in that number 2. Yeah, I would say number 2 in that passing game. And now you don't get to start him, but it's Wan'Dale Robinson and then Theo Johnson as well. I do like, Theo Johnson has climbed the rankings over these last couple of weeks too. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, Dart has certainly been looking for him in this
Yeah.
passing game.
It's my tight end 16. I still like Mason. Someone asked Theo Johnson or
Yeah.
Mason Taylor. I still like Mason Taylor ahead of him, but yeah,
Yeah, I like
it's been fun
Mason
to
Taylor
watch.
too. He's really, I mean, he's become a good pickup. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people had to start him last week. I know I did in a league or two, and he's.
You're happy about it.
And then this week too, Patrick Surtain should be on Garrett Wilson, so that should open up more targets for Taylor. Again, which is why it makes it a little challenging for Fields this week. You just got to hope he does what he normally does, and in the fourth quarter, put up those yards.
It's just on the ground. That's what makes him so difficult, I think, in my opinion, to rank week in and week out. Because in this game, you're looking at the Denver Broncos, and I thought originally I would have him more towards 14, but I can't do it. I have him right at 12. I just because of what he brings with the upside with his legs.
Yeah, and it's
We'll
just
see.
yeah,
Moving
he
on.
has that ability every game, and as ugly as it looks from an NFL perspective, at the end of the day in fantasy, he averages a QB1 when he plays like
Yep.
the entire season. So
Yeah. So, okay, last one here, and then we'll get to some phone calls. Just want to say Marvin Harrison Jr. looking forward to quote special game in Indianapolis this week. I think it's a narrative game with his dad. So he's got some clear memories of his dad playing over there from Peyton Manning, catching passes from Peyton Manning. Maybe we see it. Come on.
Well, unfortunately, he doesn't have Peyton Manning throwing him the football. We'll see if
Are
Kyler
you
Murray
sure?
can play as well. That's the other factor.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, it's so frustrating with Harrison. He did have 98 yards last week, but just 5 targets. And that's the thing you want to see more targets. He has one game of double digit targets, and then every other game is 6 or fewer. Like,
Yep.
you got to get this guy the football.
I agree. Maybe it'll be this week.
I don't
We
have
love
him,
narrative
so it really
games.
doesn't
I
bother me
don't
much,
either.
but he should be getting the ball more.
I know. Well, him. I mean, Trey McBride, for what it's worth, has not been phenomenal for you either.
Yeah, it's kind of been
A
disappointing.
little
I mean,
bit
he's been
quiet.
okay, but
Yeah.
when you take a tight end that early, you're expecting more. We were
Hmm.
hoping that the touchdowns would change this year. They haven't. It's just one so far. And, he has at least 5 receptions in every game. We just haven't seen that huge game yet, right? Like the highest points he scored is 15. So we're
Yeah.
waiting for that like 20, 25 point game, and it hasn't happened yet. So he's been okay. But when you drafted him in round 3 or 4 and you see Jake Ferguson doing what he's doing, you feel ripped off.
Exactly. Well, we always feel ripped off in fantasy football. That's part of the
That's true.
that's part of the whole thing with fantasy football. You're like, oh, this guy's beating me, and you look at the team once they're done drafting, you're like, that team stinks, and then all of a sudden they're beating you going into week 6. It's totally fine. It's that's why we love it. That's why we love it. Let's go out to the phone lines. Try and get through as many phone calls as we can here. Let's go out to Richie in Kansas City. Richie, what do you got for us?
Hey, good morning, you two. Thank you so much for taking my call. I just got a trade offer. They're offering me Christian McCaffrey
Don't do it.
and Tyrone McMillan,
Okay.
and then I would have to give up Josh Jacobs and JSN.
Ooh.
That's
You said don't
interesting.
do it.
I was joking.
Don't.
Uh,
This is interesting
that
because you never get a trade for Christian McCaffrey.
right.
But
So
it's
clearly,
the JSN Tet side that you're like, but I think if you're getting a trade for Christian McCaffrey, a trade offer, do you not just smash yes?
well, the first thing is I'm like, what does this guy know that's offering McCaffrey?
What do you mean?
Because
He's fine. He's not on the injury report.
yeah, but
What are you talking? No.
he's worried about McCaffrey breaking down. Is
Well,
why
he's
because
got
why
a
would
lot of
okay
work on him.
if you're sending an offer, if you have McCaffrey, you're trading him away. That's all you're asking for back.
But you have to. I mean, we know nothing. What do you mean? I mean, he's got a big workload, right? That's probably
Yeah.
the one thing that
He's been
looking at. He's
terrible
looking at.
on the ground.
Okay, but he's still giving you a ton of fantasy points.
I understand. My point is, if you have McCaffrey, why is this all you're asking for? Shouldn't you be asking
Maybe
for
he's
more?
bad at trading.
Okay.
So now you want Richie to go back to him and say, actually, you should ask for more than this. For
No,
me.
I don't
What
want
do you do?
Richie to do that.
Well,
I'm
then-
just trying to look at it from the other perspective. But yeah, I think you have to do this.
You
But
have to say
understand that
yes.
there's a risk of any player getting hurt. But McCaffrey, this workload is insane. Like, look at all the Niners injuries, and Christian McCaffrey's
Yes.
the one guy that's staying healthy with that training staff when everyone else is hurt.
That's what you have to
So
say.
you're
yes.
saying I would make the trade too.
Like you can't. No one gets offered Christian McCaffrey.
I know.
And
which is why
you're giving up Tet, but we even said that we're buying low on Tet right now. Now it is obviously a downgrade from JSN and what he's been giving you. But you never get offered CMC. You're gonna give him up for Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs. We know Jacobs is going to get massive volume, and he's a big part of the Green Bay offense, and he's been more involved in the passing game. But McCaffrey, especially in PPR, he's just way more involved in the pass game. I mean, Jacobs has 10 receptions on the season. Now, 9 of them came the last 2 weeks. I think one of them was the Cleveland run defense, and they said, okay, look, we can't run on this team, so we'll get Jacobs the ball in the pass game. The other one was against Dallas, where, everyone does that against Dallas, and it went overtime as well. But, yeah, it's a trade you make,
have
but
to do
understand that, McCaffrey is just – this workload is massive, and I don't know if he can hold up over it, but
If you trade for CMC, and if this guy Richie too has Brian Thomas Jr., or not Brian. What am I doing?
what are
is
you
going?
doing?
Brian
Evan Ingram,
Robinson,
Brian Thomas, what are we
I
doing?
don't listen. The Mariners are just they're just scooping.
They're
up
off
my
today.
Brain cells. I know it's even worse. Well, wait till tomorrow. Anyway, just make sure you go get Brian Robinson as well. I mean, we talk about handcuffs. He is the premier for CMC going down, but listen, he's getting 77.2% of his fantasy production coming through the receiving game. I think that maybe people are thinking if Pearsall returns, Kittle returns, that breaks it down a little bit, but I don't know if I'd even be selling CMC. So I think you're taking this.
Yeah, 130 touches in 5 games for
That's
McCaffrey.
crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
he's
mean,
still there. He's still good.
the
Just
good
make
thing
sure to
is
get the handcuff.
you prefer your running back to have the receptions instead of running between the tackles a lot, but they're trying. It's not working. He's not running effectively, but yeah, I don't know. That feels to me like that guy trading McCaffrey away has some inside info.
Okay, well, Richie, if he does have inside info, call us back. Like, if we look at this week and something weird happens, you give us a call back. But I think you have to take that because it's CMC. Let's go up to Dalton in Maryland. Dalton, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, appreciate taking my phone call. 3-2, currently the highest score in my home league, but I've been offered trading away J.K. Dobbins, Lad McConkey, and Rashee Rice, and I'd be getting back Jalen Warren and Emeka Ibuka.
Ooh, we like Igbuka.
I do, but
the one
I
thing
also
is
like Rashee
Rice.
Rice.
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
part of this is
I don't think you
Rice.
do this.
Ugh, if you
You
could do
would
it
do it?
without Rice, no, I like Rashee Rice too much. If it was
Yeah,
just
and he's
obviously
all.
Lad and
But this, look, I will say, I said it last week. I don't know if I said it this week. If you are a team that's 4-1, and go look at the Rashee Rice team, and if they're like 1-4, send an offer right now, or
Mhm.
0-5, or maybe even 2-3. Like, try and get him now, because again, he'll be back in week 7. So now's the time to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
especially since you're doing well, you have a lot of points. McConkey, yeah, it's been disappointing, but I think he'll be fine. Dobbins has been great. Of course, we all worry about the injury risk. Can he hold up over an entire season? But he's looked great so far. Warren could lose some touches to Kenneth Gainwell with as good as he looked before the bye. I love Igbuka, but yeah, I don't think you could do this trade.
I know. If Rashee Rice wasn't in it, then we'd be having a totally different conversation. But we've talked about Rashee Rice potentially being a league winner down the stretch. And so since you're doing so well, Don, if it was the other way, right, Adam, like you just said, 1-4, and you're holding on to Rashee Rice, then it's
Yeah.
one of those things where you just need points, you need to get anything, and that's when you say, okay, yes, I'm gonna click yes on this. But because you're winning and doing so well, it's just a no for right now. Let's finish this out. Let's go, Michael from Florida. Michael, what do you got for us?
Hey, I got a trade. Great question. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So I have been offered Jalen Hurts and Trevion Henderson, and I have Drake May and Jordan Mason.
Did you get that, Adam? I
Yeah,
could
I
not
think it
hear.
was
What was it?
Hurts and Travion Henderson for Drake, May, and
Hurts and
Mason. And I
Henderson?
believe he has May and Mason.
Okay. Wow.
I don't really see how this trade does anything.
Well, Hurts, I think, is Hurts not rest of season higher for you than Drake May?
I
But
don't think it's much higher.
Drake May's been so good. I think
Yeah.
he's top 5, right? For fantasy quarterback. So
I'd
I
rather
don't
have
love Henderson.
yeah,
I'd rather have Mason.
I mean, look, Henderson, it could get better. We've been waiting, and I'm interested to see what happens this week because Gibson left with that injury during the game. Now they have a full week to game plan. They clearly trust Stevenson more, but you would think Henderson gets more involved. But we've kind of been saying that, and we thought that after the fumble last week, and it hasn't happened. But again, I think a trade, you want to improve your team. I think this kind
I think
of,
this is lateral.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really see the need to do it at this point.
Yeah, I just like May. May for what he's been doing this to start the season has just been so good, and you probably just have really good other players as well, Michael, because of how late you picked up Drake May. So I think I agree. This is lateral, so I wouldn't do that one as well. But appreciate you, Michael, Dalton, Richie, calling in here. We're gonna keep those phone lines open. We're gonna keep looking through X as well. Time for just some more stock watch. We didn't get through that many names, so I want to go through some stock watch players: Deebo Samuel, Josh Downs, Malik Washington. Expectations for them in week 6. We're going to break it down coming up next. We just don't agree when someone's getting offered CMC and Adam's like, well, wait a second. What do they know? You take that trade now I'm going to be thinking about that call and we'll have to wait and see what happens on Sunday. You take CMC every time.
Yes, you do, but you also have to be skeptical that someone is
No,
offering
what is
that deal.
what do you think what do you think
You should
Richie's
be
league
getting
mate is
more.
doing? Calling in and saying, "Hey, organization, 49ers organization, how is CMC looking?"
You never know. Sometimes people know others and they get tipped off like, hey, McCaffrey is banged up and he's not going to make it much longer. So if you have him,
Don't
deal him now.
I can't believe you're putting that out into the
I'm
universe.
just saying, look, I'm skeptical of everything that I
I
see
know
and
you
hear.
are. See, I believe everyone. I'm just like, oh, he's
Yeah,
just
I
bad
know.
at trading, and then we're gonna have a whole different conversation come Monday
Well, you
for
don't
the
have
show.
McCaffrey in redraft this year, do
No,
you?
I don't. I have
Yeah, I
0
don't either.
shares. I just didn't get that 101 like in any spot. I was at 3 a good amount in 4. But I never got that 101.
Well, McCaffrey was not. You would have to
Oh,
take
that's right, duh.
McCaffrey
But it's
mid to late first round.
yeah, I was never in that I should have said I was never in that front half of drafts. I was always 10, 11, 12.
I look, I
Was
was
gone.
I was skeptical of him staying healthy the entire year. Now, so
He's
far, it's
looked
been
good.
great. I also said if I did 10 leagues, I want him in one in case he does do what he's doing now, but I didn't get him in
Mm.
any of those leagues. So it's not fun when you don't have
Where
him
did
because
his
look,
oh,
we all knew if he stayed healthy, he was going to be a league winner, right? And the volume has increased. I also think because of all the injuries, right? When you look at Kittle being out, Jennings has missed time, Pearsall, it's like, all right, well, let's just keep throwing to McCaffrey, and that's what they've done. So they probably will scale it back a little bit when those guys get healthy, but
probably.
not at a high rate because McCaffrey's always gotten massive volume, but it's a lot of touches through the first 5 games for any running back, and especially McCaffrey. But we did know he was healthy going into the year and probably should have taken that into account a little bit more.
Man, I just have none. I have a couple in on underdog there, but I just never got like the 101 to I got a couple 4 spots, but I was always going CD Lamb at that spot. I
Right.
was always taking CD. I was more considering Saquon Barkley there, Jameer Gibbs as well. So CMC actually ended up in ADP, and I'm looking at underdog, so a little bit different, but he ended up at the 6th spot
Yeah. It
overall. I
depend
just never had that spot.
in the early draft season, there was a point he was going early second round. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
us talking about it in the summer, and then he just kept rising and rising and kept going higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, it's crazy. If any of my league mates are listening and want to trade me CMC for Josh Jacobs, call me because I'll make that
To
deal every time.
but let's be fair here. Jonathan Taylor is not far behind Christian McCaffrey.
Oh
That's how good
no,
Jonathan Taylor has been.
yes, no. Jonathan Taylor's been one that I just again it's hindsight, but I just don't have enough of. I've got him in one spot, and it's so nice to have one of like Jonathan Taylor being that set it and forget it player. It's just looked so good, and people were nervous, and we talked about it. We went back and forth too on all right, is it Anthony Richardson? What happens if Daniel Jones goes in there? And so that was a lot more of the conversation, not necessarily about Jonathan Taylor as a player, because we just know how talented and how productive he can be when he gets the ball in his hands. But it was more focusing on the quarterback I won't drama. I mean, the quarterback battle and what that was going to end like. But Jonathan Taylor right now is looking like someone that is a league winner for you going into week 6.
Oh, he is. I have him in one league. It's my best team. And
Nice.
the one other aspect, too, is that with Daniel Jones in there, we felt like, all right, he could catch more passes. And that's what's happening. He has
Mhm.
16 receptions in 5 games. He had 18 in 14 games last year.
Wow. Yeah, it's just if you've got Jonathan Taylor, you're just living a good life, and I'm jealous of
There
you.
has to
Let's
be a
just say
team
that.
out there that has McCaffrey and Taylor.
Oh my gosh. If you do, can you send in a screenshot?
Yeah, I would.
McCaffrey Taylor, please send that in
I
at
think
King
it's a
Valenzuela
small
17
percentage, but there
at
has to be
Ronis.
like someone out there that
For
has it.
sure. Points per fantasy points per game, full point PPR. I think Jonathan Taylor's set. Yeah,
Second, right
he's
behind
second right
McCaffrey.
now.
He's only 0.52
24.3.
behind.
Yep, 24.3. And that's just crazy. 18 targets. Christian McCaffrey has 52. That's insane.
It really is.
And then 130 touches for McCaffrey, 110 for Jonathan Taylor. Jeez, 130 and
Yeah.
110. It's just who has 102? Oh, James Cook comes in with 102 touches. So those are the only guys with 100 plus going into week 6.
Javante, I would think, is close.
Well,
Oh,
hang
no.
on,
Yeah,
let me
96.
Oh, Saquon's at 100, I should say. I need to scroll on these. Saquon Barkley's at 100. Who's at 106?
Javonte Williams, 96.
Oh,
Because
96. Yeah.
he's fourth in points per game in PPR formats
Which
at
is
running back.
crazy.
I know. That is the wildest one of all the
That one
running
hurts a
backs
little
up
bit.
top. When you look at the top 10 in PPR points per game, Javonte Williams sticks out in a major way because it's McCaffrey, Taylor, Bijan, Cook, Gibbs, HN, Bucky, Jacobs, Kyron. We're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, wait, Javonte Williams fourth? So
Insane. I have him one
that's
spot, and it's coincidentally one of my best teams, which is just, again, sick and kind of wrong. Man, I know, listen, I know we talk about Quinshon Judkins a lot, but Quinshon Judkins sitting at 12 and I know smaller, not as many games.
he's
but
played every
12,
game
I mean,
except one.
I thought it was week 3 he went in.
No,
So
he
he
came
missed
week
2.
2.
Did he come in week 2?
Yes, week 2
Oh
is
my
when he
gosh,
showed up.
I thought it was week 3. 15.5 PPR fantasy points per game. And just the workload that they gave him, I just figured that he would have to take time to either learn the playbook, I mean, the NFL style, it is so different from college. Just even getting up to speed, it's just so different. And so it's just one of those things where you have 11 targets, but you have 81 touches. 81 touches in those games that
In 4 games,
he's played
yeah.
now. 4 games. I mean, shout out to him. He's
Yeah,
been good.
and if you drafted him, a lot of people did get him in double-digit rounds because there was a point, depending on what you drafted, where we just didn't know when he was going to show up. Would he sign a
Yep.
contract? Would he be suspended? So there were
Mhm.
all these looming questions, which is why I said, yeah, I'm not going to draft him. And then it clearly didn't
And
work
then
out. I wish I had
Here it
him, but
is. Yeah, here it is. You know what? And Jaylen Warren, it looks like I saw a little bit of an update that he's progressing well and should be good to go this week. Jaylen Warren has been a good surprise. Yeah, he's been making progress, arrow pointing up for Jaylen Warren. So I would, if you have him, still be careful, still, always have those backups ready to go. But Jaylen Warren is sitting at 16 in PPR fantasy points per game right now from what I'm looking at. It's sitting at 14.8 for the average. He missed that game, that international game, but I mean, that still looks good. 12 targets, 54 touches. You want to see that go up a little bit.
are you worried though about
Mhm.
Gainwell cutting into his workload
Yep.
after what we
Sure.
saw?
But I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is such an interesting quarterback back there because that's the other part is that once he starts to get to feel comfortable with his guys, I mean, he really rides for them. So that they had a really good connection before he got injured. And in my mind, he was close to playing that game because it was the early morning international game. And then you woke up and you were like, oh, he's not playing. And so I am worried a little bit because of what they were able to see, but I still think Jaylen Warren comes out and still gets the bulk of the carries there, don't you?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Mm.
Gainwell looks so good that I could see them, especially Warren coming off an injury. Either way, I don't like Warren this week going up against the Browns
No,
defense.
I don't think
This is a
anyone
bad
does.
week for him, especially if there's a potential, maybe not a split, but 60-40 in favor of Warren. So we did hear Rodgers several weeks back say he wanted to get Warren the ball more in the passing game, which is why that week I took the receiving props for Warren.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think
Sometimes you got to listen to what these veterans
you have to
say.
listen to
If Rodgers
sometimes
says
you have to
it,
listen to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you totally believe him, everything he says. I think the one thing for Warren though that I guess because I do have a good amount of Jaylen Warren, but where you were drafting him means that you had better options moving forward, and he was more of a pleasant surprise than anything else. So that's why when he went down, you hate to lose any player like that that's getting you fantasy points week in and week out. But I was hoping that when others were sending us messages that he was going later in drafts, that you had maybe potentially better running backs that just weren't coming up yet. So that's the one thing with Warren. But it will be interesting to see how they deploy both of those guys. We know who's not going to be out there. That's Caleb Johnson. But between Warren and Gainwell, those are two pleasant surprises that I did not think we would be talking about as much as we are right now.
do you remember when Caleb Johnson was going before Warren?
It was, yes, because
It was
I remember we were on the show. I said, listen, I have way more Jaylen Warren, and I was so comfortable with it because it just didn't Thor did not love Caleb Johnson coming out of college. I feel like the hype just got really going. But I can say the same thing about Travion Henderson and RJ Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, at least with those two guys, they are actually on the field.
Well, that's
Caleb,
true.
Caleb Johnson has just been a
He's
disaster.
nowhere. I know, he's nowhere. Where did he end up? What round was that? Was that
Well, when we
9?
close, there was a point he was going in the 5th, 6th round. I don't remember where he was going like
Let
right
me
before the
see.
start of the season,
Uh,
but he was not cheap.
he ended up pick 79,
Right.
RB
That's
28. Wow.
he has done nothing.
He was going before. Should we do this? Should we just hurt ourselves? Jordan Mason. He was going before him. He was going before Zach Charbonnet, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne. Oof. Those are some big names right
And
there.
he should be on the waiver
Devontae,
wire in almost every league
Cam.
now.
Oh yeah, if you're holding on to him, just drop him. That's an easy droppable player right now. And I know it hurts, but you just have to roll with the punches, unfortunately, Adam. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, the Jalen Warren Gainwell situation this weekend should be interesting. Well, I might have to update my rankings there. Rankings are live though at fantasylife.com for all of our rankers across the board, so make sure you go and check those out. Matchups, I've got highs and lows for you. See if we're really buying into looking at Matthew Stafford going up against the Ravens. I wanted Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt going up against the Bears. Should we be avoiding this one big running back against the Rams here? We're going to break it down coming up next. Oh, yeah, we are right here on this Thursday getting you ready for week 6 across the NFL. Thursday Night Football. We'll break that game down here in a little bit. Wanted to go through matchup highs and lows just to start things off. I will say, okay, so we asked people to send us their, CMC Jonathan Taylor drafts if they had one.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of those, but you know what I did get? I've seen a lot
We
of
did get one just
Bijan.
now.
Oh, just now? Oh, who
Yeah,
is it?
10-team league though.
Hey, that doesn't matter. You still have
10
them.
and 11. Okay, fine.
No, those first couple picks, those are, I mean, yeah, that's crazy. I see a lot though, not a lot, but 2 teams. I see one from Chris and then I saw one from Doug with CMC and Bijan. That's also a cheat code. I like that.
Yes, it is. And Bijan already coming through with his bye. But
Yeah,
wait, how did that happen though? Bijan was like a top 3 pick.
I think they would then CMC fell.
Fell all the way.
Probably had to have fallen, right?
I guess.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that too. I see 2 CMC Bijan teams. Oh no, I see another. Oh, CMC Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, you're right. From Chris. Shout out Chris.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Man, I love seeing these because I'm just jealous. I'm gonna live through vicariously through you guys. It's totally fine. We don't have that, Adam.
Well, if Lamb gets back healthy, I have a Lamb and Puka team.
Okay, yeah, that's not
That
as
would be
cool though.
nice. It's not right now, no, because Lamb has been out. But
That's not as cool, not as fun. I love to see it. Love to see it. All right, going through just some matchups. I've seen people, ask, hey, based on this matchup, is this something I should avoid? Is this something I should smash? I mean, for all the Derrick Henry questions that we've been getting, and I'll continue to go through some of these over on X, try and answer as many as we can. I understand it. Like Derrick Henry is tough, right? You're going up against the Rams. Lamar Jackson doesn't look like he's going to be available this week as well, and it's just been really disappointing. Let's just say that it's been disappointing to not see him. They've got a week 7 bye too.
yes.
Don't you just wonder if they keep Lamar till after? Well, it depends
It's
on, I guess,
probably.
if they're losing though. Do you not try and get him back out there for? I don't know. Anyway. Derrick Henry, as much as you want to maybe look at this and say, oh, this is an avoid, it's going up against the Rams. I know when you look at this defense, it's a defense that you just said they held Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor to a combined 24.1 points in week 3 and week 4. You look at Christian McCaffrey, he had, I think it was 25-27 on that team, but I don't know. I still have him in a spot because it's still Derrick Henry. It's still, one of the better running backs in the NFL. You just kind of have to ride it out.
Yeah, it's brutal. I
No
do
other
not have
options.
I don't have Henry this year, so like I can't give an example of a situation where like I would bench him. The problem is he's just not getting the volume because they're falling behind. And when they fall behind, he's not on the field. They don't utilize him like that in the passing game. So he hasn't had more than 50 rushing yards since week 1.
Wow.
He's averaging 13.6 touches. We would say Henry is a lock for 20 touches every week, but obviously the context of the Ravens, it's just been way different than anyone anticipated with all the injuries on the defensive side of the football. So yeah, it's tough because it's a difficult matchup, as you mentioned there. So he's low RB2 this week, which we didn't think we'd say at any point, but
Never.
that's just the reality of the situation at this point, where you need them to stay somewhat competitive in the game and hope that, or they rely on Henry early. Maybe they win the coin toss, they have a drive where they lean on Henry and he's successful going down the field and caps it with a touchdown. That's what you need to see. Rams are 7.5-point favorites on the road. So, yeah, last week was ugly. And
That
Derrick
wasn't
Henry,
good.
at least he scored a touchdown, but yeah, it's been pretty bad. So those that were fading Derrick Henry every single season and just losing money on it, this might be the year that they're finally victorious.
Maybe. You gotta give him some time. But he
Well,
is my
yeah,
RB
because the
15.
schedule eases up.
It does.
It
We've got a
can
lot
turn
of time
around.
left. It can. You just hope that that the week 7 bye is just it's probably not going to be Lamar Jackson this week.
Probably
They
not.
just
And
they just hold him out, and then he gets the 1 extra week of rest, and then you come back
I'm
and
interested
you
to
see where it
see
is.
it, because right now, at least 2 days ago, they were still the favorites to win the division.
There's
If they
no
lose
way
this
that
week, there's
holds.
no way that can be right. Well, especially if the Steelers win. If the Steelers go to 4-1 and they fall to 1-6, there's
It
no
didn't
way.
move any with Joe Flacco going to the Bengals, did it?
Probably
There's
not.
no
No, I
chance.
can't see that changing.
Derrick
It's all
Henry,
about the Steelers and what they
which
do.
is again so crazy. RB 15 for me this week. Let me just tell you this: Henry has averaged 0.55 fantasy points per offensive snap played with Lamar Jackson on the field. Only 0.33 with him on the sidelines. And that's through 2 years with them. So yeah, it's a downgrade a bit. You just have to do it, unfortunately. I want to let's go through more upgrades, downgrades going into the week based on tough matchups and break down this Thursday night football game. Could this be the spot for Saquon Barkley, Dart, Skattebo? What are we thinking they're going to do today? And please, AJ Brown. I just like maybe 12 fantasy points. You know what? I'd be happy. I'd be happy with 12. Let's see what he's going to do in this one as well. We're breaking it all down here. Coming up next. You are listening to us right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Thursday Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Thursday night football. Saw a question, Dallas Goedert or Mason Taylor. That one's close. I've got Goddard higher though.
I'm going Taylor here.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Like, Goddard is touchdown dependent. I think this is.
Yeah, but they're playing the Giants.
Yeah, but I think this favors the receivers more.
Okay.
Brown, Smith, and Barkley too. Like Barkley, I don't know if they intentionally scaled back Barkley last week, knowing they had a Thursday night game because they came out so pass heavy, or if that was just to appease. You can't appease your
I don't
receivers,
know.
like you can't do
No.
that. But Barkley, 6 carries, he had at least 18 in every other game.
It was his lowest output since 2021.
Yeah. So this to me seems more of a Barkley game. Brown and Smith. Goddard has just been very touchdown dependent. So, look, I am starting him out of desperation, but he really hasn't done much. I mean, he has 4 touchdowns in 4 games. You can't count on that with him.
We've got him projected for 8.8 fantasy points. That's just the median. 19.1 for the Xfinity best score. So the ceiling, what the best outcome could be for this Thursday night game, again presented by Xfinity. But I will say you're right on that front because Mason Taylor, we got projected for 9.9, which isn't a huge jump. Again, 8.8 for Dallas Goedert, 9.9 for Mason Taylor, and then his Xfinity best score is 20.2. I do have him very close, but I do have Dallas Goedert ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm going Taylor there.
What do you think for Barkley? I mean, this really could, because you've said it. It's been a bit disappointing here, but if I'm looking at the projections for Saquon Barkley, again, Xfinity best score, which we would absolutely love, 37.3 fantasy points. The just regular projection sitting at 18.5, and you said it. I mean, the 6 carries for 30 yards was his lowest output since 2021, and he is now averaging 71.9 rushing yards, fewer per game so far in 2025 than he averaged last season. 71.9 rushing yards fewer, Adam. I mean, that is stunning in a bad way.
Yeah, the offensive line has been a major problem. He's had no room to run. Like it's night and day compared to last year. But the Giants is a matchup that I think he could take advantage of. He only faced them one time last year because remember, I think it was the last game of the season with the rushing title on the line, and he sat. But he had 176 yards rushing against them on 17 carries in the one matchup. He's also been getting more involved in the passing game too. I think part of that is probably due to what's going on with the offensive line, and they're trying to get him out in space more. Because I've noticed that, like if you look his receiving numbers, have been pretty good. 31 yards 2 weeks ago, 58 last week, at least 24 receiving yards in 3 to 5 games. But yeah, I do think you'll see one of the better games for Barkley tonight.
We've got him projected again 2.7 receptions, 20.8 receiving yards. Give us the Xfinity best score. Wouldn't it be amazing to talk on Friday 37.3 fantasy points for Saquon Barkley? That'd be beautiful.
If
We
you have
deserve
him,
that.
yeah, you'll love that.
Well, we don't have him. What do we?
I got him in one league.
Skattebo and Dart. I don't want like expectations. I don't know. Skattebo again. So Dart had what 3 fumbles last week. Skattebo had the fourth quarter fumble in the red zone, which was brought back for a touchdown. So that was just absolutely brutal on that part. And that was a game that I think a lot of people expected to be a little bit closer for them, or at least cleaner, because now they're starting their gauntlet run of Eagles twice, Broncos in the next 3 weeks. But what do you think for those two?
Yeah, Dart, I don't feel great about, especially with no neighbors and this matchup here and the mistakes last week, a short week. I think Skattebo you can play. Tyrone Tracy is going to be active, but I still see Skattebo getting a big workload again.
We've got Dart projected 15.9 fantasy points, which would put him at a QB 21 finish. Xfinity best scored 27.4, but yeah, he's probably the one. I've seen a lot of questions between him and Mac Jones, and we said go with Mac Jones just in case, have a backup if he doesn't play. But I would go with Mac Jones if you're looking between him and Dart.
Yes, I would too. And
Yeah,
a very
all right.
bad matchup here for Wandell Robinson.
Ugh, great. You taking the Eagles? No, go with the Giants.
Eagles will win.
You don't want either of them. You want them in a tie. That's what
I'll
you
take
want.
a tie.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.